actually live streaming this time because I'm pretty sure I just did a good 7 or 8 minutes to an audience of 0.0. Yeah. It's my fault. Trying a new setup, trying a different way of doing this. We'll find out if it actually works a second time. If it doesn't, it's not even 3 strikes and you're out tonight. This is 2 strikes and I'll call it quits. Hopefully the chat will start populating. Hopefully the audience will start generating. Oh, Puck Guy, how are you? You know what's funny, Puck Guy? I saw your comments in my other video, the one that I thought I was doing. Apparently you never saw me, but I appreciate you being there, and now I appreciate you being here. Anyway, now that I know things are working, let me just jump into all the same stuff and repeat it once again. 4-1 loss tonight by the Sharks, and you think about certain occasions this year where they have rose to the occasion. Against Calgary, against Minnesota on that last road trip, just to name a few recent ones. And those were wins, but there have also been games where, even about a month plus ago in Boston where the Sharks were down 4-0, fought back, made it a 4-3 game. I thought that was honorable. Even the game in Nashville, they just could not score. Ultimately lost it, I want to say, 2-1, 3-1, something like that. So there have been nights where the results are or aren't there, but it's because the effort was there. And you could see how hard they were grinding, how hard they were working. Tonight, the result wasn't there, but the effort just didn't look consistent or just also didn't look there. I don't know if it's a day after Thanksgiving thing or, let's be honest, Toronto is just a really good team. And their leaders tonight stepped up in the way you'd expect. Nylander's 8th goal of the year, Austin Matthews' 9th goal of the year, John Tavares' 10th goal of the year, and also Wayne Simmons' 2nd goal on the season. So look, the Sharks have rose to the occasion of a lot of their opponents. A lot of their top opponents this year, they found a way to be competitive. Tonight was a significant departure from that. The trend of where Toronto scored goals tonight, I thought was interesting. On the doorstep, whether it was rebounds or tips or players' own second chances. I mean, if you were to draw dots on the ice behind me from where Toronto scored, all right out front, all on James Reimer too, which is a different conversation that we can have here. But I think it says something when that's how they scored all their goals. 1 on the power play, 3 at even strength, but right out in front. Kind of lets you know that they were skillful plays, but also that they earned that body position and just a little bit hungrier, just a little bit more around the puck tonight than the Sharks were. And I think that's another thing about a 4-1 loss. You're going to look at the 4 goals against San Jose, and we could dissect that kind of as we just did, but also only scoring once. And it was by Nick Bonino, and that's an entrance or opening. I would take that. All right, so I'm getting some reports that the stream had been skipping. I saw the data rate there jumping around. I apologize about that. I should have made sure I was on the Wi-Fi. Good time to check on that, Brazil, now that you're already live streaming for 5 minutes. This video tonight, by the way, will not be terribly long. And I'll try and take some comments, the good ones, as they come. So Bonino, I certainly hope that this is the start of something. I hope that the floodgates are opening for him. James Reimer, this was his 3rd start in a row. What a storyline, by the way. Appears Nope, the Wi-Fi is on. Maybe I should... All right. What a pain in the rear. Now I'm trying to just connect to the to the live stream here. Tried some Wi-Fi, tried some cell signal. Anyway, let's talk goaltending. And the Toronto broadcast had an amazing stat that James Reimer's last 5 starts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he's been pulled in all of them against Toronto. And there's no rhyme or reason behind this. Those 5 starts date all the way back to March of 2017. That was a totally different team he was on, and that's a totally different Toronto team that he was facing back then. But there's some bad luck, some bad mojo when Reimer goes up against Toronto Can't explain it. Don't know what it is. I don't mind seeing him 3 starts in a row, especially the way he had been playing, 2 wins. At some point, you gotta give it to the player when they deserve it. The goalie we're talking about, when they deserve it. I do think there is something you want to be careful of, and I was happy to see Adin Hill jump in this game, keep the door relatively shut the rest of the way, but you don't want it to be too long between starts for Adin Hill, or vice versa. Adin Hill, catches the hot hand. You don't want James Reimer to be a week and a half, 2 weeks apart from starts on a pretty consistent basis. Also want to comment on Doug Wilson while I'm here. We mentioned it on our broadcast. I know a lot of people have known about this and talked about it, but to be on a short-term leave, let's hope that's all it is. The very last thing that this man would want is to have to take time away during a hockey season. I don't think he'd want to be away from it, but especially, in the midst of a team starting to turn it around, and he does not want to take a step away from this at all. So I think that speaks to the severity of what he's going through, and hopefully to get it remedied and be done with it. And I also think the Sharks' statement of talking about a temporary leave, probably speaks volumes that, and we don't know, in the medical world, we don't know everything. We don't know all the answers or timelines or what, but let's just hope that it is just a short-term thing and it gets fixed and he can come back. And that's probably the encouraging part, right? Is that they're already suggesting short-term leave. In the meantime, Joe will take care of this team. And obviously Doug will not be far away. It's just the day-to-day operations, right? That he will not be a part of. And I'm sure if there is anything that major, he'll be consulted and will be speaking on all these issues. But certainly want to wish Doug the best. He's meant a lot to the team over the years. Hall of Famer now. Always handles things, with class and dignity, and brings a lot of pride to this organization. So definitely want to mention that. So final thought here. Sharks are 20 games into this season, and I just think that they have shown enough at 10-9-1, which is basically a 500 record, a little bit more than that, 21 points in 20 games. They've shown that they have turned corners this year. They've shown that they can contend even with the toughest of opponents. I think the one big remaining question is we do not know how they stack up against the Pacific Division. Yes, I know where they stand in the standings, but how do they literally match up against Edmonton, Vancouver, Los Angeles, Anaheim, Seattle, Vancouver? We do not know that yet. And once we find that out, we'll really have a better grasp on the potential for a postseason and all that. It'll really help give perspective. And I also want to say that, their next road trip of another 5-game variety is heavy lifting. To have 3 of these giant trips all out east, it's difficult early on in your campaign. That being said, nice to be done with it. Nice to have that out of the way. So it has been an interesting first 20 games. It has not been a disappointing first 20 games. I think there are some potentials, but, let's say you repeat this, you get another 10 wins in your next 20 games. All right, now you're halfway through your season. Are you a contending team, or are you going to be adding pieces as you go? However the Evander Kane situation works out, whether it's Evander's contributions or maybe somebody else's of that variety, I don't know. But let's hope that they've established, and you're satisfied with that to a certain extent. Let's hope it just gets better from there. Caker Girl, did I really say rhyme or reason about James Reimer? If I did, and if you liked it, I'll have to go back and watch it and remember that for Sunday. All right, I apologize, everybody. Short broadcast tonight. Had some severe technical issues. Didn't sign on at the right time. Yeah, I'll work on this for next time, but it's 11 o'clock, and I know. If I stay on longer, more people would have eventually found this, but kind of like tonight's game. 4-1. I feel like this was a 4-1 loss for me in Sharks Night Shift. So I'll leave it right there. I'll leave you with some sights of SAP Center as I go. Let me just show you. Oh, I did say rhyme or reason. I'll show you the rink as I sign off here, and let me just give you. Whoa! Let me give you a nice scenic look at SAP Center to say goodbye. There we go. Steady on the camera. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Again, my apologies for being late and having some issues, but I will see you on Sunday for more Sharks Night Shift.